And welcome to Upon Further Review. I'm Josh Aubrey. Plenty to get to in this week's show. It's a good weekend to be a Georgia Southern Eagle. The Georgia Southern baseball team able to sweep Georgia State at home, taking 3 games, 2 of them pretty close ones, including a walk-off. We'll get out to J.I. Clements and take a look at some highlights in just a bit. As for some Georgia Southern golfers, it was a good weekend over at the Club Card Championships at the Landings Club in Savannah. The Korn Ferry Tour making their annual stop there. And you had Steven Fisk winning for the first time on the Korn Ferry Tour. And one of his teammates, Mason Williams, coming through, finishing in the top 10, which would put him into being able to be eligible to play in the next Korn Ferry event as well. Ben Carr, not so lucky. He had a rough Sunday, but played well and made the cut and made it to the weekend. We'll hear from a couple of those guys and see some highlights from the Club Card Championship coming up in just a bit. As for the also Georgia Southern, a big place this week as they announced their new head women's basketball coach, Hannah Hayden. She was introduced to the public at a press conference. We'll hear from her, as well as athletics director Jared Benko. The Georgia Southern football team continues spring practice at Paulson Stadium. We're able to get out there this week, get an update on how the quarterbacks are doing. We'll hear from Coach Helton and some of the players in just a bit. On the high school front, baseball teams in full swing. We'll head out to Statesboro High and Southeast Bulloch for a couple of big victories for the Blue Devils and the Yellow Jackets. Also some soccer action to bring you. Portal girls in action, and then the Portal girls and boys taking on Bulloch Academy. The Gators with the sweep there. All that and more coming up on Upon Further Review. Reminder before we go to break, hopefully you'll never be in an accident, but if so, please give our friends at the Sullivan Law Firm a call, 912-489-8888, or online at thesullivanlawfirm.com. Cook's Pharmacy, located on Highway 80 East, is family owned and operated by Lynn and Janie McCook, as well as their son, Josh McCook. Serving the Bulloch County area since 2005, McCook's Pharmacy offers fast and friendly service where the customers come first. Vaccinations are available, including shingles, flu, pneumonia, and Tdap. Drive-through service is available with 2 drive-through windows for your convenience. McCook's Pharmacy offers free local deliveries, and new customers are always welcome. Continuing the tradition of our family caring for your family, McCook's Pharmacy, Highway 80 East. Well, a lot to get to on the Georgia Southern front. Let's begin with the Georgia Southern baseball team taking a 3-game series, a sweep at home against Georgia State. Let's send you out for some highlights. Georgia Southern hosting Georgia State in the first of a 3-game series. We pick things up in the bottom of the first. J.D. Kaiser, the batter, he triples down the right field line. 2-run score. Here comes Kaiser in the third. In the second, Josh Tate singles into left. Jonathan Jamie comes in to score. It's 3-0. The Panthers able to come back. The solo homer to right by Brennan Hudson makes it 3-1. But the Eagles respond right back. The hot shot to short by Kent Schmidt will bring home 2 to make it 6-1. Georgia State gets within 2 at 7-5. But in the 7th, Sam Blancado with the RBI single. The Eagles are 9-5. The bullpen does the rest. Ben Johnson, 2 2-3 to force back out.
Statesboro
Saturday, and a beautiful afternoon for baseball, but it's the visitors striking first. Luke Boynton, the batter. He comes through with the solo homer, and it's 1-0 Georgia State. The Eagles respond in their half of the second. J.D. Kaiser ropes the single to right. That brings home Kent Schmidt, and we're tied at 1. Georgia State adds a pair of runs in the third, and this one in the fourth on the RBI single from Maximus Martin. They take a 3-1 lead. The Eagles answer Josh Tate. Off the glove of the pitcher. Nobody can get it. Then kept the 3-2, and then Tyler chops this one to third. He'll beat the throw to first, which is thrown away anyway. Another one scores. The Eagles up 4-3. Georgia State comes back to tie the game. And a ninth back at the infield lead. Jenkins comes through. The grounder gets to the outfield. And the Eagles wrap off with a 5-4 victory. So we move to Sunday. The Eagles looking for the sweep, trailing 1-0. Tate doubles to right center. Overtime at one. Then drives this one to the left side. It gets through. Another one scores. The Eagles will go on to take a 4-1 lead. Georgia State gets back in the game with Boynton, another solo homer. They end up taking a 5-4 lead. The Eagles answer with a long ball of their very own. This one provided by Jarrett Brown. Up after the right center, and they're tied at 5 out. Georgia State comes back to take a 7-6 lead as Colin Hannock here with the RBI. But once again, the Eagles with the answer. One on for Sean White. Another home run to center field secures the victory for the Eagles who win 9-7. Elsewhere on the diamond, the Georgia Southern softball team recently in action, and on the mound, former Southeast Bulloch standout Elena Barnard was able to pick up a victory against the Marshall Thundering Herd. The Georgia Southern softball team hosting Coastal Carolina, game 2 of their 3-game series. Delaney Keith, the RBI double to right center. Visitors up 1-0. Southeast Bulloch, former standout Elena Barnard, the strikeout to end the inning. The Eagles able to tie the game on the error and then take the lead. Janai Conklin up and away to left. The solo shot gives the Eagles a 2-1 lead. Barnard doing a good job fielding her position, getting the force at second. She'd get some insurance. Faith Barth to left. Emma Davis scores to make it 3-1. Nice defense by the Eagles. Here Davis with the diving grab in center. Barnard does the rest, going the distance with 7 strikeouts. The Eagles win 3-1. Elsewhere, the Georgia Southern football team continues practice at Paulson Stadium. Their blue-white game will be coming up soon. We had a chance to talk with head coach Clay Helton and a few of the players about how things are going for the quarterbacks.
I tell you, they're really taking turns. I thought 3 practices ago, I thought Dex had an unbelievable practice, and then all of a sudden, you go to the next one, last Tuesday, and then you're looking at David Dallas, who just lights the world on fire, and today it was JC. They're kind of taking turns, and so I even met with them today. I said, hey guys, it's about consistency. It's about making the right decisions time after time, being able to get the ball out in timely, decisive manner, and being accurate, and doing that over the next basically 30 practices to establish separation, because there's not a lot of separation within that room, just a bunch of talented kids that are really growing into their own. So I'm looking forward to those guys playing really consistent football on a daily basis, because each one has shined during the day. Even the young buck has come out here, and every day Tyler makes a play, and you put Colton and Kobe in that room also, man, that's a special room that's growing together.
Yeah, right now we got a competition. We got some really talented guys. We all push each other. We're all pretty close. We're getting to know each other more. I just approach it, got to come in every day and get better, because I know what these guys can do and I know what I can do. So it's going to be a special year for the quarterback room.
I've seen each one of us quarterbacks make big-time throws and big-time moments. I've seen big-time plays from JC and Dave, as well as I feel like I've made some plays myself. But
I was out of the game for a couple years, and honestly fought to get back, and it was a struggle. It was a tough fight, but it was incredible just to have the process of facing adversity, and I think it means that much more to me now.
Well, the state of Georgia in the spotlight this week as Augusta and the Masters tournament begins on Thursday. But this past weekend, a lot of eyes were on the state of Georgia once again as Savannah was hosting the annual Club Car Championship and the Korn Ferry Tour. Had a couple of Eagles do really well, including Steven Fisk with his first career victory on the Korn Ferry Tour as he vaults up into the top 10 on the money list. And Mason Williams finishes in the top 10, and he is able to play in the next Korn Ferry event in 2 weeks. Let's hear from a couple of the Eagles.
I feel unbelievable. Such a long day that somehow went by really fast at the same time. To get my first win right here in Savannah, so close to where I went to school, is kind of crazy. I haven't had much success here in the past, but to get it done today is extra special, to be this close to what's kind of my adopted home. I feel like I gave the people what they wanted. Definitely could feel the crowd on my side, and I had a great group of people following me all week, and for them to come out and continue to support me is so special.
But I kind of had an idea. I saw the leaderboard on 14, the par 5, and made par there, and definitely needed to make birdie there. At least I thought I did. And then made bogey on 15 and knew kind of needed to make at least 1 or 2 birdies coming down the stretch to get that top 25 to get into next week. And luckily made birdie on the last 3, and just rush of emotions right now. I don't really have many words for it. It's a feeling I've never really had before, as far as playing for, truthfully, like your livelihood, right? Like trying to get into the next event and trying to keep pushing forward, especially after kind of a rocky middle of the round, like don't really have the confidence, and then pulling it out, it was awesome.
Definitely learned that I'm good enough to be out here, but still got a lot to work on. A lot of just like mental stuff, honestly. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not really my golf game. I mean, it can be at times, obviously, but just got to be better, honestly.
Well, Austin, a lot of the big news this week was Georgia Southern's women's basketball head coach Hannah Hayden was introduced to the public at a press conference. We had a chance to talk with Coach Hayden as well as athletics director Jared Benko.
To me, there's great coaches all over the country, and I think being here at Georgia Southern, you realize that not every great coach is always going to be a Division I Power 5 assistant, and so we had some of those in the mix, and Hannah won the job. And so I think a big part of that is she's been a head coach at an early age. This is not her first rodeo; it's her 3rd head coaching job. And then beyond that, really, it's actually back her 4th head coaching job. And then beyond that, she's won at a high level, Josh. And that's the piece that was so intriguing to us. Is the biggest indicator of future success is past success. And I think in today's world, when you look at the transfer portal and NIL, one of the strengths of being at a junior college is you're someone new roster every single year. And so I think that's the piece now with basketball. If you look at the transfer portal right now, I mean, it is even more prevalent than it was in football, just numbers-wise. So I think the demonstrated ability to build a new roster every year. And she also, she every possession is like it's her last one. And so I like the aggressive coaching as well. So all in all, she won it out at the end of the day, and I was really impressed with her.
So what interests me about Georgia Southern is the people. Again, I think the people make the place. The alignment there and giving our student athletes a really good experience, and also having those resources to compete. This is a program we want to take to the top of the Sun Belt Conference. We'll have a defensive identity, right? We want to be disruptive defensively, and depending on your personnel, that could look like run and jump man-to-man, or it might look like switching up defenses and playing zone. But, we want to create our offense with our defense. So we do want to score the ball. I'm not saying a defensive identity like we plan on scoring 50 points a game, but we want to take pride on that end of the floor, and, again, hopefully turn that into scoring opportunities. There's a lot of great basketball at the high school level down here in Georgia, so I'm glad that I got to be down here last year and kind of get my feet wet, and I look forward to recruiting more Georgia kids. Well, I think I'm fortunate to have spent my years at the junior college level, and I coached a lot of Division I players, and so I was kind of their advocate on their side. So I've been through that process, the recruiting process, countless times with those players. So I think I'll kind of rely on that experience. But it's ever changing, ever evolving. At this level, you have to be able to adapt. What I'm really excited about is Georgia Southern has things in place, with our collective, and they have that structure to be able to take advantage of NIL.
And stay with us, high school action coming up next. Get your game on with officially licensed Spirit gear and merchandise at the Georgia Southern University store. We carry the gear, you bring the cheer. Become game ready with our wide selection of apparel and custom merchandise. Our Freedom merchandise collection benefits our live mascot who's unable to survive on his own, as well as the Georgia Southern Wildlife Center where Freedom and many other animals make their home. We have a tumbler for every vibe with Vibe tumblers and can coolers. You can listen to music with a detachable speaker or swap in other attachments. We have locations in Statesboro and Savannah on campus, as well as 2 shops in Paulson Stadium for your game day needs. And check out the website at gsustore.com. Well, baseball and soccer both in full swing right now. We had a chance to go out to Southeast Bulloch for a big victory over Benedictine and Statesboro High for a win against Grevin County. The Southeast Bulloch Yellow Jackets hosting Benedictine, trailing 1-0. The Jackets respond. Noah Rogers singles to center. Will Nelson will come home to score, and it's 2-1. Rogers getting it done on the mound as well. Here with the inning-ending strikeout, the Jackets would go on to tie the game. Nelson, the batter, and he gets the RBI single up the middle, and it's 2-2. Rogers continues to mow down the Benedictine batters. He'd have 11 strikeouts in the game. He gets some help defensively as the Jackets will turn the 6-4-3 double play to get out of a jam. To the bottom of the 5th we go with a runner on third. Cade Harnage drives this one deep to center. That one deep enough to bring in the go-ahead and the winning run. Southeast Bulloch pulls off a 3-2 victory. Over at Mill Creek Park, the Statesboro Blue Devils hosting Screven County. The Gamecocks start the scoring. Gatlin Scott, the RBI double to the gap in left center. Statesboro comes back. L.J. Johnson's grounder to short brings in Aubrey Smith. Later, it's Mathis Lanier, the batter, with the deep drive to center. This one good enough to bring home a sliding Nathan Newkirk, and it's 2-1. Heads up play later with the runner on third. Pitcher Randon Gay catches the runner. Britt Baggerly applies the tag. The Gamecocks add 4 runs, though, in the top of the 2nd, and they take a 5-2 lead, but the Blue Devils respond in their half of the inning. Aiden Lewis, the perfect bunt here. He's safe at first. Bad throw to third. Plates another Blue Devil. And then Aubrey Smith. This one deep enough to bring home Whit Brannon. Nathan Newkirk then with the RBI single to center. Statesboro ties it at 5-all. Jack Lanier on the mound in a wild play here. Lanier, the heads-up play, tagging the runner for out number 3. Back at the plate in the 4th, Aiden Lewis, the drive to left. This one all the way to the fence for an RBI triple. The next batter is Smith, the squeeze bunt to make it 8-5. Lanier sharp on the mound for 3 shutout innings. Here coming through with the strikeout. And then he gets some good defense. Heads up play here by Aubrey Smith on the ground ball as he'll pick the runner off at third. The Gamecocks storm back as the seesaw battle continues. They'd score 5 runs in the top of the 6th for a 10-8 lead. Statesboro not going away, though. In the 7th, Mathis Lanier muscles the 2-run single to center. This would tie the game at 10-all. And then Roan Hauser helping to load the bases. He singles into right. And then with the infield in, Michael Danello's grounder to second, but the throw home bobbled, and Statesboro wins 11-10. As for the soccer teams, Statesboro High girls right now second place in their region. The Portal girls undefeated in their region. Bulloch Academy's boys and girls battling for the top spots in their region. We had the Portal girls in action, and then the Portal girls and boys playing at Bulloch Academy this past week. The Portal Lady Panthers hosting Johnson County, already up 2-0. Colby Stewart feeds Maggie Brannon in the middle. She takes aim and fires and scores as Portal grabs a 3-0 lead. Johnson County trying to answer on the other end, but the Panther defense stiffens and denies. Renee Lawrence helping out. 3-0 at the half. Second half, and Stewart, the nice shot, but this one stopped by the keeper. But a little bit later, Brannon with the nice through ball, which Stewart runs down. She gets past the defense, shoots, and scores to give Portal a 4-0 lead. Brannon later trying to add to her assist total. She finds Olivia Brown, who shoots and scores, but is unfortunately called offside. But the Panthers not done. Stewart completes the hat trick with the goal here, and Portal clinches the region title 5-1. So we head to Bulloch Academy. Portal on the move, but Stewart denied in goal by Mia Harris, who had a great game. Harris later with another stop. 1-0 Gators at the half, second half, and it's Riley Ann Claxton making her way downfield. She shoots and scores to give Bulloch Academy a 2-0 lead. Claxton later, the pass ahead to Addie Becker, who takes aim and fires and scores as the Gators win 3-0. To the boys' game we go. First half action, and Micah McDonald, the good corner kick here, and Hunter Davis Presley heads one nicely in. 1-0 Bulloch Academy. A little later, Sammy Mendez with the ball, and the shot looks like it stopped, but the keeper ruled past the line, and it's 2-0 Bulloch Academy at the half. We move to the second half. Bulloch Academy possessing the ball, and eventually it's Angelo Pereira with the left foot blast that's deflected but in for the goal. 3-0. The Gators keeping the pressure on. And it's going to be centered here to Sammy Mendez again, and he bends this one around and in for a 4-0 lead. The Gators not done yet as Pereira, some nice fancy footwork, and he scores his second goal of the half. And finally, the loose ball in front of the goal, and this one headed in by Artem Huggins as BA rolls to a final victory of 6-0. And that'll wrap it up for this week's show. We thank you for joining us. Hope to see you again next week.